goodness. Good morning. I love this teaching. I love this teaching because it asks a lot out of us. It asks a lot of us. It doesn't say, you can just stay the way that you are. Don't worry. Let me pet you. You can tell me all your problems and I'll give you a shoulder to cry on. And we'll just commiserate about how life just sucks. It doesn't say that. It says you are a powerful, creative, spiritual being alive and well on planet Earth. You are exactly where you need to be. But you are exactly where you need to be. No matter what the circumstances, no matter what the situation, no matter what the story, you did that. Give yourself a pat on the back. You did that. You used the creative power of all of life to manifest that. Wow. I love it when people come up to my office, and they usually come up for one of two reasons. It's either relationships or money. Same thing, same, only different. And they'll come in and they'll say, oh, there's just not enough money. And I'll go, wow, you are a manifestation of infinite abundance. And you have managed to shut the door on the prosperity of life. You are so powerful. It's as if you command the sun not to raise, and it won't. You're so powerful that you can stop that flow of good in your life. Or they come into my office and they say, I'm all alone. Nobody loves me. It's just terrible. And I go, wow. People don't come to me a second time. Wow, you are so powerful. You are a manifestation of love itself. We sing it every week. There's only love. And you have managed to shut that down. It's like you commanded the tides not to come in and they didn't. I'm so impressed. Because we are creating our experience. We are this being with vibration and light and color all around us, living in a world of vibration and light and color, commanding the molecules to come into form in exactly the way we want them to. And then we create that. I'm glad John's not here. And I love this teaching because it says if you didn't create it, you can't fix it. You can't uncreate it. You can't create something new. So you created it. And that opens up the door of all possibility so that you can manifest what you want to. But the thing is that we live in two worlds. We live in an inner world and we live in an outer world. And the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. And so if we want the outer to change, the only thing to do is to change the inside. And my experience with this teaching boils down to one thing. And that is to remember who you are. And if I can help cause you to remember, then I have done my job. And if I can help to awaken you to that which you already are, not to try to sell you something that I think you need to become that which you are, not to put you in a position where you can go and get that which you need to become that which you are, but to remind you of who you are. If I can do that, then I've done my job. And everything that I do up here, and everything that I do in classes, and everything that I do during the week is all focused on that one purpose, that we come together to awaken. On the front of the Creative Thought magazine, if you're not getting them, they are great. They have daily treatments every day, and they have little articles, and they're little. You can put it in your pocket and take it with you. But it says, awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Not selling humanity to its spiritual magnificence, not fixing humanity so that it can have spiritual magnificence, but awakening humanity to its already occurring, already existing spiritual magnificence. We wake up. We come together to wake up And so if I ever grab you and shake you and say, wake up, that's what I'm doing. Better that than the scene in Moonstruck of Cher where she goes, snap out of it. But isn't that what we want? We want someone to help us to snap out of it. We want someone to stop us from living in the darkness and to awaken to the light. And sometimes it's just that fast. All we have to do is open up our eyes. We can pretend that nothing is there by shutting our eyes. Close your eyes. I've got my grandchildren with me, so I have children things going through my head. And there was a time when they would close their eyes and say, you can't see me. So you close your eyes and you pretend there's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's nothing here. We're all alone in the universe. It's only darkness. Oh, poor me. But then you open your eyes, and you look around, and what do you see? You see people next to you. You see this great room. You see me, which is a reflection of you. You open up your eyes, and everything is different. If you can open up your eyes for just a second, everything will be different. It's all about what you make it mean. I'm fascinated with this, and I'm kind of still kind of going with last week's talk. If you weren't here last week, it was great. You might want to get the CD or download it off the internet. But I'm kind of going with the same thing that says we are, as master manifestors, creating our reality. And we create our reality, we look at it, and then we are at a point of choice, either to use that reality to grow into a greater level of awareness of who we are, or to use that reality to shrink and to hide and to say, oh, it's just too much. It's just too much. People say that to me. They say, Barbara, you ask too much. And I look at them and say, I obviously have not asked enough if you think I'm asking too much. Because I haven't asked enough of you to push you over the edge to where retreat is no longer an option, but only standing fully and completely in who you are is the only choice that there is. And so we create our reality, we look at that reality, and then we are at the point of choice. Are we going to rise into the spiritually magnificent being that we are, or are we going to shrink and use that as an excuse? We did it. We did it. It's as if we take the garbage cans out, which we do on Sunday afternoon, and it's as if they didn't put them on the side, but lined them up in the middle of the driveway, and then came back and got in their car and pulled up to them and said, I can't get out. There are garbage cans in the middle of the driveway. Not realizing that they just put them there. And if they put them there, they can do what? They can move them. And so we create obstacles in our lives. We create learning opportunities. Whoopee-doo. We create, I won't even go into the acronym of that. We create learning opportunities, and then we look at those learning opportunities, and we're at a point of choice to say, am I up for my own self-created learning opportunity? Or do I just not have what it takes? Maybe I should go dig a hole and bury my head and forget about this thing that keeps calling me to be more, to be happier, to be healthier, to be more prosperous, to be more joyous, to be all that I can be in this life. Should I ignore that and turn my back on it? Or can I wake up, open my eyes, and remember who I am? My grandchildren are staying with me, first time ever over a Saturday night. So my grandchildren are staying with me, and I was remembering this scene in The Lion King. Think way back, because the movie's old. But the movie is about a little lion, male lion named Simba. And spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, it's too late. Simba's father dies, and Simba goes into a deep depression, a deep fear, and he runs away. And the movie is about him reawakening to who he is. And there's a pivotal point in the movie where Simba has been running from his fear of lack, that which he depended upon, which was his father. I mean, it was James Earl Jones, and he had this very deep voice, and all was well. And he's lost that, and he thinks he doesn't have what he needs to be the king that he was born to be, right? We are all born to be this magnificent being. And don't we all go through a time where we lose something that says, I can't be that now. I don't have that I thought I was going to have. I don't have it, so how can I be the destiny, the spiritual being that I was born to be? And there's a point in the movie where Simba looks in the pond. And you know, of course, there's the wise monkey. And all of these movies are filled with such metaphor and such teaching lessons for children. And he says, look deeply at your reflection, and you will see, in this case, your father. And Simba looks at his reflection. He says, I just see me. And obviously, he was at a point where what I am is not enough. So I just see me, and that's not good enough. And the monkey says, look deeper. Look deeper. And so he stares at the reflection, and sure enough, up comes the reflection of his father, which is all about us being willing to look deeply within ourselves to find that which we think we don't have, which is keeping us from being who we have come here to be. And so he sees the reflection comes up, and then it kind of goes out from there, and there's the voice from the heavens, sounds strangely biblical, saying that all is well, your father is here. But really what it is, it's an awakening inside of him that he can be the king that he was born to be. That he doesn't have to run and hide and eat slugs and live that kind of a life. It's a little bit prodigal son-ish also, which is true of all of us. And so there's that moment of awakening, of thinking that we don't have it, that we can't pull it off, that it's too big, and awakening to that which is already within us. And I'm fascinated at our journey. Aren't you fascinated at your journey? You know, wouldn't you think that you would have taken a little bit of a faster, straighter pace? Even today, I look at my journey and think, I didn't need to take all those zigzags, and I'm just talking about yesterday. I didn't need to do all of that. But it is the stories that we tell ourselves, the way that we see our world, that determines how our life will be to us, even though it's all of our creation. There's a wonderful quote in the Science of My textbook that I love, where Ernest says, nothing is real unless you make it real. Nothing can hurt you unless you allow it to hurt you. Refuse to have the feelings hurt. Refuse to receive anyone's criticism or condemnation. In the independence of your own mentality, know that you are wonderful. This is not conceit, this is the truth. What could be more wonderful than the manifestation of infinite spirit as you? Wow, that is so empowering. First of all, nothing is real. Oh, well, I saw it on the news. No, you didn't. You saw it coming out of a little black box. It's not even a box anymore. It's a panel. That doesn't make it real. Well, they said that doesn't make it real. Well, this happened. I experienced it. Doesn't make it real. Nothing is real unless you make it real. At the point that you make it real, it's real. So you are at total choice as to what you're going to make real. Remember, we live in two worlds. We live in the inner world and we live in the outer world. And whatever we make real on the inner world will result in the outer world. If it's in the outer world, at some point we made it real inside of us. And if it's not yet in the outer world, all we have to do is make it real inside of us. Refuse to have the feelings hurt. Refuse to receive anyone's criticism or condemnation. It's fascinating to me that someone that we hold close could say something to us, and very often people will either get angry or crumble, and yet if they walk down the street and someone just hollered out of a car the same exact phrase, it wouldn't bother us at all. What is it? They used to have crazy houses, insane asylums. That was before Reagan, and he turned everybody loose. But there used to be places where inmates would go, and if you were in one of those places, you could never know what someone was going to say to you, and you would all take it with a grain of salt because they were crazy, so what difference did it make? And yet, when it's our biological family, or when it's at our workplace, or when it's someone who just wanted that parking space before us, we take it so personally. And then we somehow make it real and give ourselves permission to react or to respond. And those are the turning points of our lives. I love this teaching because it calls us to go beyond that which normal people do. Normal people say, well, that's all you should handle. You know, job is over at 5, you should go home. That's all that can be expected of you. It's okay for you to cut it short. It's okay for you to not follow through. It's okay for you to tell just a little white lie. It's just a little white lie. It's just going out of integrity and commanding all of the forces of life itself into form, and then we go and we did that. It's just a little bit. As I get older, the little voice within me has gotten louder. And whereas I used to ask it to speak English and be plain, now that it does, it unnerves me just a little bit. And so I was awakened in the middle of the night with this. It's called The Invitation by Araya Mountain Dreamer. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you have touched the center of your own sorrow, if you have been opened by life's betrayals or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own, if you can dance with wildness and let the ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes without cautioning us to be careful, be realistic, remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you are telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself, if you can bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it is not pretty every day, and if you can source your own life from its presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand at the edge of the lake and shout to the silver of the full moon, yes. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after the night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else fails away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself and if you truly like the company you keep in the empty moments. This teaching will take you there. This teaching will allow you to wake up. This teaching, with all of its hoopla of you can create money and you can create relationships and you can create cars and houses, will take you so much farther, because it will take you to who you are. You are the one who chooses every second of your life. You are the one who decides how life shows up. And if it shows up in a way that is not the way you thought it would be, you are the one who has the power to change it. I know there's a big push for things showing up exactly in the boxes that we wanted them to be in. And when that doesn't happen, it can be unnerving. And yet it can also be awakening. There's a big push to have things show up in ease and grace, which means don't bother me. Don't make me stretch. Don't make me grow. Don't make me look at words in there like pain and struggle. And yet when we find that we have created those, that those are a manifestation of us, we stand at the crossways to open up and awaken to who we are. It is my only job to wake you up. The only way that I can wake you up is to wake me up. So it is my only job to wake up. It is my highest goal and my greatest ambition, and I invite you to wake up together by knowing and remembering who you are, and so it is.